LSE Insights column, sponsored by the UK Lansha Limited Company. Perhaps no investment opportunity has captured the minds of investors in recent years more than China has. There are grounds for optimism for potential investors, but also a need to proceed with caution. Although small and medium enterprises made up about 98% of all registered companies in China, capital raising remains to be the key problem for them. Today we are honored to have Mr. Huang as our guest. Mr. Huang used to be a director of investment at Hony Capital and now is the CFO of Xingge Entertainment, which has successfully raised over 800 million RMB through 2 rounds of financing. We believe that Mr. Huang's rich experience in investing and capital raising in China will give us a clue to previous questions. What are the key challenges and opportunities for making investment in China?
I'll talk about the opportunity first. So the opportunity of making investment in China is still, obviously China is still the biggest market, one of the biggest market in the world. So various industries all have a lot of opportunities, especially business opportunities. And companies typically have a much longer growth stage than their peers in countries like any European country or even in North America. And therefore, if we can pick and choose the right team, the right business in the right industry, then opportunities is the market. And the challenge will be many industries all have a relatively short period of time in China. Then the talent pool is really limited. So for making investment, funds typically still focus on the experience and relationship resources of the founders. And it's very hard to check the executive or the management team. And most of the successful companies in China are still first generation business, even giants like Tencent or say Alibaba. So it'll be very hard to find investment targets with a super strong management team at the very beginning. And this is very different from doing investment in US or say in Europe. So I'll say this is the biggest challenge.
Based on your experience, what makes a successful investor?
With my limited experience, what makes a successful investor, or say what makes a successful institutional investment firm or say company is discipline. Because the opportunities are so big in China, and there are always various attractions and the hot topics keep pop up. Like last year you have entertainment, this year you have artificial intelligence, algorithm, and next year, I don't know, 5G. So for any good investors or say investment institutions, the core is to strengthen your own fundamental capability, your research of your specific industry targeted, and your team's expertise in those industries. After solidify your own capability, then stick to your own investment discipline. And when I was doing investment with a US firm, I still remember the chairman told us one sentence that if you don't make any investment, you lose 0. And if you make any investment, there's always a chance you lose 100%. So stay cool and form a very firm and solid investment strategy, stick to it, getting discipline, and say no to a lot of attractiveness or say attractive opportunities. That is very, very important for making investment in China. And doing investment is always the long run. So that's why I think most successful investors in China are all, they all have very disciplined characteristics or say personalities.
Investors seem to prefer investing in productions using popular celebrities, so-called 流量担当, instead of productions with high quality. How do you think about this phenomenon and how to improve this situation in China's entertainment industry?
In my view, I think it's a pretty normal supply-demand result of the market, because if you look at the value chain of the whole industry, who is finally paying for the bill, it'll be the long-form streaming platforms such as Youku, Tencent, and iQIYI. And their revenue model is decided by both subscription fee and advertisement. So it's finally the ads payers or the sponsors. They require the so-called 流量担当 because those can drive up the CPM volume and then realize their value. So from the upstream, they're driving all the OTT platforms to order shows casting the 流量担当 instead of choosing so-called good performers. And in our view, that's good and bad. The good thing is it can help to populate our shows. The bad thing is some people will say their performance are not so good. Regarding how to improve it, I think it's a natural process for the whole industry to evolve. And all the leading studios like us, by the way, it's typically studio like Xingge Entertainment who are financing all the shows, and movie, scripted show, non-scripted show. So the natural process will be we will pay more and more attention to picking the volume players or popular players who also can act really well. And it'll also be a natural selection process after 2 to 3 shows. The market will decide which show, which actors or actresses can actually act. And gradually after, from another angle, gradually after all the OTT streaming platforms, their composition of revenue gradually change to make more money through subscription fee instead of ads. Then they will have more say to pick really good actors and actresses instead of so-called 流量担当. So I think it's a natural process of the current stage of the whole industry, and give the market and studios 12 to 24 months, it will get better and better.
Does Xingge Entertainment have any ongoing projects or future plans for expanding to the overseas markets?
Yes, we do, and actually we have already produced 13 shows in the past almost 4 years, and a lot of our shows has already been distributed to international markets. For example, one of our biggest show called Oh My General, casting 2 leading celebrities in China. The show has been sold to more than 30 territories, almost 4 different continents. So that's one approach. We sell international rights of our shows. The second approach we are actively working on right now is we are trying to work international production company, either UK or US ones, try to start from the early stage, the development stage, and such shows we might choose to target international market instead of domestic Chinese market. And for these shows, we also have 2 to 3 pipelines. One story is about Shanghai in its golden era, 1920s. It's very much like the China version of the Boardwalk Empire, the HBO show, famous one. So for this type of show, we are working on it, and hopefully in the next 24 months we will have a show co-produced with company like BBC or HBO, Netflix, targeting global market English language.
Thank you, Mr. Huang, for presenting us with so many brilliant and insightful ideas. Investing and raising capitals in China are indeed a perplexed issue with many potential upsides in this ever-evolving world's second-largest economy. Thank you for watching Insights Column, brought to you by the UK Lansha Limited Company.